what do you guys do? Like, are you guys freelancers? Like, at your job, like, what do you do at your job? Like, what industry it is? All of these things, I think that context would be great going into the session. So if you guys could just like quickly introduce yourself, that would be really, really fun. Software development, interesting. Like, cool. A master's student, that is so cool. What are you currently studying, Siddharth? A professional, awesome. Cyber, wow. We have, oh, wow, that is so cool. Very interesting. Psychology, oh, that's so nice. I really went through psychology way back when, but I think all of us had that phase. Lawyer, wow, it's very cool. So I can clearly see that everyone on here, your backgrounds and what you do are very, I would say, are in a field of expertise. Design, exactly, right? Like you all have like some specialized skill, knowledge, services, and that is perfect because that's exactly the approach to take if you're thinking about creating an online course. And before like I get started to like how to do it and stuff like that, like very quickly, like what is an online course? Like I think at this stage in the pandemic, everyone has like fallen to the FOMO of like, oh, everyone's taking an online course. Like, I think I should also take an online course. And like, I'm sure everyone here has like been a student and like taken an online course. But the way I look at like online courses, if I had to like quickly define it, is that it is just a packaged solution to a problem. It's just if someone is looking for a problem and someone knows the solution to that problem, like they have the knowledge, they have the expertise. An online course is just the way you package that information and package that knowledge, package that solution, and give it to someone who's looking for it, who has that problem. And so, in its basic essence, that's just the way I look at what an online course is. Yeah. So before, sorry, yeah. So that is what an online course is, and quickly, if anybody asks me like, who do I think should create an online course? Like again, right? Like we have so many different people from like various different backgrounds here. So like, who can actually create an online course? Honestly, my answer is everyone. I think every single person can create an online course. Like even if all you've done is graduate from college, okay? Like you would think that like, oh, everybody has graduated from college. Like what is really there? Like what can I like make an online course out of? I've just graduated college. Like someone who's graduated college knows so much more than someone who's never like not even started college yet. So if you look at it that way, all of us have done something that like someone else has not done yet, which is why like I truly believe that every single person can create an online course because they all have the solution to something. They all have some knowledge. They all have some information. But having said that, like, oh, everyone can create an online course. I understand that like there's a lot of mindset blocks and a lot of things that like hold us back from even thinking that like we could create something like an online course. Which is like very real, and like I would like to quickly address all of these mindset blocks, at least a few of them, the ones that usually come up, and hopefully it'll help you out, and hopefully at the end of that, like you feel a little bit more confident and ready in order to take on to go on this journey. So first, obviously, is that like, oh, I'm not an expert. It's not like I've been doing something for like 15 years. Like I haven't been in software development for like so many years. I haven't been a lawyer for so many years. Like, like it would feel really weird if I was to like create a whole online course and teach people something that I don't necessarily feel like I'm an expert in. That's a very, very common like mindset block that people have when it comes to creating online courses. And for that, I would say that that's perfect. I think that an expert, someone who has years and years and years of experience, actually shouldn't be teaching beginners. I really think it's people who are just a little bit into an industry, just a little bit into a field. Those are the people who should actually be teaching beginners, because someone who's like been in an industry for like 15, 20, 25 years cannot possibly empathize with a beginner, a student who doesn't know anything about something. Like a lawyer who's been like practicing for so many years can't possibly put themselves in the shoes of someone who knows nothing about law in order to teach them something. Which is why I really think someone who's just been like practicing for a few years really remembers very clearly what it felt like to just get started on a journey, and is way more equipped and is way better to teach that person who's just a beginner, as opposed to someone who's like really, really far ahead. So when you look at it that way, you think about it that way, it's an advantage if you haven't been doing something for so long, and it's not something that should hold you back from feeling like, oh, I can actually kind of sell this knowledge I have, sell this information I have. You don't have to feel like you should have known about it for a lot of years in order to do it. So that's the first mindset block. Second is that like an online course is like a paid product. It's paid content. Can't someone just watch a YouTube video, or can't someone just read a blog post or something and find the solution to that problem? How can I ask people to pay for content? That's something super common that people feel like. And for that, I would say you have to understand what the main value add in an online course is. Like, what are people really paying for that you can't get in a YouTube video? And what that is, first of all, is curation. So now, like on any topic, there's so many YouTube videos, right? And like they're all scattered around. They're all different levels of like advanced, beginner, intermediary, all of these things. You as a person who knows something about this, you as the teacher of like creator of the online course, right? You are curating all of that knowledge into a proper like structure, into a proper journey of like, this is what you should learn first, this is what you should learn second, third, etc. Because this is the best way to learn this particular thing. You are doing that work because you know this better than someone else. And that is one of the biggest value adds in an online course. And that's why people pay for online courses. Now, second is convenience. Now, someone would literally have to go type in various different things onto YouTube and search it on Google in order to find an answer, read so many different blog posts, all of these things. You're just making it very convenient for them because you know like all of these topics and all of these things. So you're just like putting it all together and making it really easy. And like you're saving so much time for someone in order to just like learn this thing. So convenience is a big thing why people pay for online courses. And third is credibility. They're buying into you. They're buying into your knowledge. Like you can't trust like a random YouTube video that you see. Like you don't know whether that person actually knows what they're talking about or not. But when like someone from your Instagram or someone like buys an online course from you, they trust you. They've been following you for some time, something like that, and like they can read about you, they know about you. So credibility is also a big thing why people pay for online courses. And the third mindset block that people have and they don't create online courses is that they feel like, oh, like someone else has already made a course about this, like does another course about this, is it really necessary? Like like it already exists in the market. And for this I like to like remember this very nice quote that says, it's not about the message, it's about the messenger. So it's not about what you're actually delivering. It's not about the definition and the topic and the knowledge. It's about who's really delivering it. Like if you've ever taken an online course, you know that it's very similar to like what we're doing here. It's like someone is like presenting the knowledge, someone is like like talking to you and telling you, like teaching you, right? And like the person who it is very important. Like think back to school or something. Like maybe you had like a few physics teachers and a few English teachers and all of that, but you always like remember one that when they taught you something, it really registered and you really learned it because the way that that teacher taught you was exactly the way you needed to learn. So like even if there exists an online course in exactly what you want to do, then like it still like doesn't matter because the way that you can teach it is not the same way that someone else is teaching it, and there's a lot of value in that. So I hope that these mindset blocks really helped you gain like a little bit more confidence and actually exploring this idea of creating an online course, and you actually do get started on this journey. Because next like you must how to go. Okay, I would love to get all like please leave all your questions that you have while I'm talking like in the chat box, and we can get all the questions in the end. Sorry, so what is it now? Why should you do all this work? Like why should you have to like go through all this mindset blocks and like like get the confidence and all of that? Like basically, why should you create an online course? Like if that's a question that you have, I would say I'm going to take a wild guess and say that like everyone on here would love to make money. Like I think that's a fair assumption to make. Like who of us like don't want to wouldn't love to like make more money in life or something, right? So the thing about and the way that most of us probably make money right now is a very active form of making money. Like we trade our time in order to get some money. Like whether you have a job, whether you're a freelancer, like some of you are here, what you do is like you work on something for a couple of hours and someone compensates you for that financially. Now, at some point, in some way or the other, we should all be aiming towards creating also passive sources of income wherein you don't have to do an equal amount of work in order to get equal amount of pay. Like at some point, like you don't, there should be like a situation where you don't have to do work and you can still make money. That's passive income, right? So, and online courses are a great, probably one of the best ways to create passive income, because you just create the course once and the course is infinitely scalable. Like you just upload it onto the platform and 10 people can buy it, 100 people can buy it, 10,000 people can buy it. You don't have to do any extra work in order to, keep making money out of this. You don't have to you don't have to deliver the same content every single day, because you just recorded it and it's uploaded. So that's why online courses are a great way to make money, because they're passive and they're scalable. And also, whatever you like, I see that a lot of you are, as I mentioned, are like specialists and like professionals in like a particular industry, right? And we all know that it really helps to be credible in what you know. Like if you're a lawyer, like it's great if you're like credible in your field of law. If you're like a design freelancer, right? Credibility never hurts anyone. For people to think that you really know what you're talking about, like that doesn't hurt anyone, right? And creating an online course in what you know is such great credibility. Like if you're like, like you're a graphic designer or something and you have an online course in graphic design, like, yeah, if I'm looking for graphic design services, I'm definitely going to hire you. Like you must really know what you're talking about if you have a whole online course all about just graphic design. So it offers so much credibility in what you do, which is why like I really, really believe that like people should be thinking about creating online courses, that it'll really help them professionally in their businesses and their careers. And next, like again, not everything is about money also. I really, really believe that teaching is so fulfilling. Like I am sure that like all of you are really passionate about your industries and your fields of expertise. And like I am. And when you're so interested and passionate in this particular field and particular topics and things like that, to be able to teach someone who's also interested in it but doesn't know it, that whole process in order to like see them understand and learn and all of those things is so fulfilling. So I think like that is just all the intangible reasons are just as valuable as the tangible reasons. Like how fulfilling it is and like creating this impact, like that the fact that like what you know doesn't just like live and die with you, that you can actually share it with other people and other people can go on to do things with that knowledge that you gain. It's so impactful. And I think these reasons are, I think, way more than enough to consider creating an online course. And I really, really hope I've convinced you, because if you are convinced, finally, we can start talking about how to actually get started creating an online course. Now, the first, and it's going to seem really, really simple, but it's not that easy and it's super important. The first step is, what is your idea? Like, what is your online course idea? Because like you could be in software development, you could be a lawyer, you could be in design, right? Like these are big, broad industry terms. Like what is that actual topic? What is that actual idea that you'll actually be creating an online course about? That might not be as easy to figure out as you might think. But here are a few questions that like maybe you can ask yourself, so you can reflect upon, that might help you figure out what that particular idea is that you can consider creating an online course about. Like, first of all, ask yourself, what can you talk about all day, right? Like, what is that one particular, like, again, like, excuse my law knowledge or whatever, but like, what is that one particular thing in law? Like, what is that one particular thing in design that you can talk about like all day? Like, you're just like, it just lights your soul on fire to talk about it. That's probably a great place to start, because like, trust me, you will have to talk about it a lot when you're making your online course. So it better be something that you can talk about for a long, long time. Next, what questions do you get asked a lot? Like, what do your colleagues usually like think to come to you for? Like, what do your friends like message you? Like, hey, like about this thing, like I want to know, like, like what do people like come to you and like ask you a lot? That probably means that like when you talk about it, it really sounds like you know what you're talking about, and like people really look at you that like, hey, like that's something that this person knows. That's also a great place to start. Next, what is missing in your industry? Right? So like, what do you feel like people aren't teaching in your industry? When you were a student yourself, what is something you wish that like, I wish someone made a course about this, like I wish some resources existed? So like, what is something that's missing in your industry? That's a great place to start, because like, you're solving a problem because you yourself face that problem, and not then you can assume that other people are also probably facing that problem. So that's also a great place to start. Next, survey your audience, survey the people around you. Like if you are a content creator, like, if you make content online, if you have an audience and things like that, ask them like, hey, what would you love to see an online course from me about? Like ask the people around you, like, ask like law students, like, hey, like, what do you feel like you would love to have an online course, in what topic would you love an online course about, like what do you think could really benefit you. So like it is so important to actually talk to people, because all the other things are all in your head, all these other questions you might ask, like you think people want something, but when you actually talk to people you realize they want completely something else. And this is something I would encourage that people do throughout the journey of creating your online course. Talk to people, be like, what are the specific questions you have in this, like where do you get stuck, like what do you just like would love some extra support on, like what would you like workbooks on, like what would you like to do, like what tasks, projects, would you like constantly when you're making your course, like find someone who you think is like an ideal student of yours and ask them questions, and like make the course like actually giving that person in mind and not just in your head about what you think they need. No, actually go and find out what people need. So like serving people, serving your audience and stuff, super important, right from picking your idea all the way till finishing your whole online course. Next, ask yourself what is profitable. Now, there are a lot of things that we might be interested in. Like I have like random interests, and I might find out a lot about it, and I might know a lot about it because I'm interested in it. But it's like I don't think anyone would pay for it if I made an online course about some random interest of mine, even if I know a lot about it. So ask yourself what is profitable. Like we see a lot of courses these days about like how to start a side hustle, how to start an online business, how to make money, all of these things, because people pay for that, because the ROI on that is very, very high. Because that if you spend like 10,000 rupees on the course, like you can make back 1 lakh, because they're telling you how to start a whole business. So some courses, some topics, some ideas are way more profitable than other ideas. So again, like we're not just trying to do like charity here, like with this is a business, like your online course is a way for you to make money because you're going to be spending a lot of time and energy on it. So make sure whatever topic, whatever idea you choose is actually profitable and actually make you money, and then people will pay for it. So I think these are some great questions to like ask yourself anytime you have an idea for a course idea, like run that idea through these things and like see if it checks out, see if it makes sense, and like you land up on like a topic idea. But a topic idea itself is not an online course, right? So a topic idea could be video editing. That's a topic idea. But the course is like, what is video editing? That's not a course. So once you have the topic, once you have the idea, the next thing you need to go towards is identifying a transformation. Now, a transformation is the most essential thing in an online course. It's basically, where are you taking your student from? Like from point, you're taking like an online course takes a student from one point to the other. So an online course that helps people start an online business takes someone from having no business, like absolutely no business idea, to having maybe like a minimum viable product in the end of 3 months or something like that. But that's the transformation. The student is now transformed. They are now changed because of the online course that's in the middle. So you need to identify your transformation, like within design, within video editing, within like software development. What is that one specific transformation that you can you can like offer the student? Now that is your online course. So once you identify the idea, the next thing you need to identify is that transformation. So think about like where the person is when taking your course and where the person will be once they finish the course. And not only is this important to actually make the course, it's very important when you're marketing your course, because this transformation is what is the messaging that the students will receive. Like they're not just going to see that like, oh, it's an online course on video editing. Okay, sold. I'll buy it. No, you need to tell them what the transformation is, and that's how you're going to make the sale. So transformation, super important. Next, after you have your transformation, choosing a format or a type for your online course. Now, in like, because online courses in edtech has like evolved so much, there's so many different types of online courses you can actually create. Like you can have a purely recorded type of online course where it's just recorded videos and you just like give it to them and they just consume it and they're done. Or you can have a completely live structure. It's called a cohort based course. It's a completely live course, like all like like maybe 2 times a week or something, people come online, like onto like a Zoom call, like everyone, a whole cohort is online, and the teacher themselves will teach you live. Like you like have a PPT or something like that, and they'll teach you live, and everyone learns live, and you give them activities to do, projects to do, all live. So there's two ends of this, and there's also a lot of hybrid models that are in between. You can have some recorded components to it, some live components to it. It can go like, so you have to figure that out, and that comes down to like how much time do you have to give to this. Like if you don't have a lot of time, then go full record it, right? Like because that's just like a one time thing, and then you just have to like, and people will just keep watching the same videos. But if you have the time, go all live, right? Go for the cohort based, because this is way more actionable, and people really like get the full value. And also you can charge way more for a live course as opposed to a recorded course. So like how much money do you want to make, how much time do you have, all of these things really play a part in like choosing the type, format, structure of your online course. Next is creating the journey. So now you know that like a student needs to go from step A to step B, right? So someone asked like, how do you create a curriculum? So the journey is basically the curriculum of the course. It's like all of the modules, the lessons, all of that will play a part in taking the student from point A to point B. So that's something you need to create next. And the like a quick way to create a curriculum would be to like like it would be to like note down all of the things that a person would need to know in order to go from point A to point B, and like form a journey of like, this is the first thing they would need to know, this is the second thing they need to know, third thing they would need to know, fourth thing they would need to know. Because like you can't learn about like step 5 when you're like at step 2 and stuff like that. So like really map out like how a student would go on a particular journey, like what all are the prerequisites that someone would need to know in order to move on to the next step and the next step, and so on and so forth. And that would be the journey. And then like you would have to like bunch them up together, like again, like it like this is like a whole thing to get into, but like you would have to create modules which are like chapters, and within the modules you would have different lessons, etc. So all of this goes into designing a curriculum, and a curriculum is actually very important in ensuring that the student actually sees the learning outcome that you want them to. Because at the end of the day, right, like you want that student to finish the course, you want that student to actually take away like whatever it is you intend for them to take away. And the journey, and like making sure that's very thoughtful and like meaningful, goes a long way in actually making sure that the student learns what you want them to learn. So that would be the next step. And the next step is, and after the journey, I'm just gonna say this, but this is probably the biggest part of making the online course, and it's something that will take the most amount of time, but it's actually creating the content of the course. Now, like once you have all this planning and mapping and all of the really fun stuff, I would say, done, then it comes to like actually doing the work, which is actually creating the content of the course. Now, right now, something that like is very popular and might be for a while, but might not be forever. The way that online courses are presented are in the form of PPTs. So it can either be just a PPT, or it's usually also like a presenter who is the teacher of the online course, creator of the online course, will be presenting the PPT, and you can also have their face in video on it. So that's popularly how online courses are created these days. So when I say you have to create the content for the online course, what I mean is you have to create the slides for the presentation, you have to create the slides for the PPT, like definitions, examples, case studies, all of these things are visually representing them in the form of a PPT for each and every lesson. And then once you make the PPTs, recording each of the modules, right? You can just record them on Zoom. You can just, if you want your face, you can just like you can just screen record your screen when you're presenting it on Zoom, or you can like, if you want the higher production value, you can record yourself separately on a camera while you have the slides on the laptop, and you can edit them together. Like again, your course can be as simple as you want it to be, or it can be as complicated as you want it to be. That's totally up to you. The editing, the production, all of that. But again, I have seen both ends of the spectrum. I've seen very simple, very low production courses, and I've seen very high production courses, and both of them work. It's really about like what you want to put out there. So I don't want anyone to feel like you have to have this like high production value in order to like create a course, something like that. Even a simple course, like it really does work. So like that should not be like a barrier to entry at all. Next is the simple stuff, I would say, just like edit it, put it all together, and upload it onto like a platform. Now you can either sell it to your own audience, like on Instagram or something, or you can upload it like onto a marketplace like Udemy, Coursera, Skillshare, something like that. So just like upload it, like a lot of like very popular platforms to host your online course, like Thinkific, Teachable, Zendler. All of these are things that like course creators use. I would personally recommend Zendler. It's really good. I personally have friends have used it and like they have really good things to say about it. So you can explore Zendler as a platform in order to upload and host your online course. So this is where all of the videos that you make will be hosted on, and people when they buy it, they like Zenlo will give them access to the like Thinkific or whatever will give them access to the course, and they will view it on that platform. That's what uploading your course really means. And the last, again, super simple to say, but not so simple to do, is to market your course. Like, obviously, you can put in all of this work and create a beautiful course, but if you don't market it well, unfortunately, no one's going to consume it, right? So, marketing your course, whether it be through your own audience or like organic audience that you have built online, like through creating content, or it be through an organic audience that you gain through running Facebook ads. Both of these things really, really work. So you don't, it's not that if you don't have an audience online you can't make a course, because I have seen people who just run Facebook ads for that course with no audience and with a great funnel set up and all of that, they still make a lot of sales and students really like the course, even if you like find it through like a Facebook ad or something like that. So marketing the course, whatever that path you choose to go down to, again, is a very, 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 it's like that in itself is as important as all of these other things that you did, because you can make a great course, but if you don't market it well, no one's going to consume it. Then what's the point of making the course? So this, I would say, is like a high level, just like super quick like process on like how to make your online course. And we will be doing another live with Crater next week about all of the very like important and essential elements of an online course, that like actually gets deep into like how, like what are the really important things that you have to have in your online course in order to call it a good and an effective online course. So this is just like the high level stuff, and then next week we'll get deep into like what are the really important things. So I would love to take questions now. I see a lot of questions here, so exciting. Again, like after all of this, if you have any questions at all, anything that you think that I didn't get enough into, like please feel free to ask me, and I would love to get into that. Nikhil asked how to go about creating a curriculum. Yeah, again, I'll just like quickly repeat it. Like, just like have the end goal in mind. You know, like let's say you're designing a curriculum for like how to write a book or something like that. You're an author and you want to teach people how to write a book, right? So writing a book or writing a chapter or 5 chapters of a book, if that's your end goal, then just like work backwards from it. Okay, if someone needs to write a chapter of a book, what all would they need to know? They would need to know the characters, they would need to know the plot of the book, like they would need to know like like the setting and like the storyline, all of these things, right? So like map that out. So like when they need to know all of these things, then teach them that. Teach them how to make a storyline, how to create your characters, how to set the theme and the plot and all of that for your novel, right? So that's a very simple way of how you can go about designing a curriculum. Again, there's a lot of different ways, but like this works for some very actionable courses that have like a clear end goal. So you can just like work backwards into all of the different topics, and then you can bunch them together. So all of the character stuff will be in the character module, all of the storyline stuff will be in the storyline module, and so on and so forth. And like this is basically how a curriculum is formed. So I hope that answers your question. So that there's already so much content out there. How will we add any value with something new? Again, as I said, right, I completely agree. There's probably a YouTube video or a blog post out there about every single thing. But first of all, who's going to actually go find that, right? Like, who is going to, the thing is at this point, because we like I have seen this transformation happen like through the 2-3 years that I've like observed this industry. People maybe before would have done the work and like found that free YouTube video because they don't want to pay for an online course or something. But right now, honestly, people are just like, if someone's teaching me this, I'm not gonna go there and try to find that YouTube video, try to find that blog post. I'm just gonna like I'm gonna invest in this course and like get the solution to my problem.